Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the Pig Pen. My name is Sean, this is UCM Pigs Moto Vlogs, and we're not moto vlogging this week. Crappy weather outside. We've had this low pressure system sitting all over the Virginia coast, and it's just been misting, and it's like 52 degrees. We got tidal flooding, it's just a mess. So we're gonna hang out in the Pig Pen this week, and we're gonna talk about something I did this weekend. I did the bearings on the front of Noelle May. Noelle May's had a roar over the last couple months, and after some troubleshooting I determined it's probably the bearings. So I decided to go ahead and swap the bearings out. But before we talk about that, let me remind you to like, comment, and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. And when it comes to that comment on my channel, you don't feel like typing words, just leave me an emoji, let me know you were here. So getting back to the bearings, I decided to replace the bearings. Now the bearings had been replaced the last time I did tires about 11,800 miles ago, specifically March of 21. I had the tires replaced. When I took it to the shop, they told me the bearings were going bad. It was a good idea to replace them. I went ahead and said, you know what? You've got it, go ahead and replace them. So they did. They charged me for it. So I was a little concerned that these bearings had gone bad so quick. They did not use genuine Harley parts. It was not a Harley dealer. I think they used some drag specialty bearings. Here they are right here. I found the problem to be one of the bearings. Now it gets pretty interesting here. Got the tire off, got the wheel off, pressed the bearings out. This is the ABS bearing. It goes on the left side, your primary side. It's a little fatter than a normal bearing, a non-ABS bearing, which goes on the right side. And it's got a groove cut in it. So this bearing came out first, and it's in great shape. There is nothing wrong with this bearing. It's nice and smooth. It's not wiggly. It's not noisy. It's a great bearing. That concerned me. I flipped the wheel over and proceeded to pull the other bearing out. Now this bearing was a little tough to get out, and as you can see, there's some corrosion around the edge of it. The inside of the hub was severely corroded too. It does not appear they replaced this bearing. They only did one, it looks like to me. I can't confirm it, but that's what it appears to be to me. So I think they got over on me, and this is the bad bearing. Very jerky, very loose. This was the culprit here. Now, when we talk about replacing bearings, you're gonna see YouTube videos where dudes are trying to tap them out with a screwdriver and a hammer. Don't do that. Get off your hip, right tool for the job. Got a several $1,000 machine here, whether it be a Harley, Honda, Indian, whatever it is. Get the tool. It's very easy to do. It'll save you some money in the long run because bearings are relatively inexpensive. I replaced it back with genuine Harley Davidson bearings. They were $36 each. So once you do the initial investment of the tool, you can replace your bearings as often as you like. Some people like to do it every time they do their tires. Again, we only have 2 wheels, very inexpensive maintenance. So this is the tool that I use. It's by a company named OMT. Ordered it off Amazon. It's from China. I'm not a professional mechanic. I don't do this on a daily basis. This tool will work perfect for me, and it has. Let me show you what's in this kit. This tool will not only pull the bearings, it will also reseat the bearings. It's universal. It works for a Harley Davidson. There's several sleeves. This is the one that goes into the center of the bearing. This little bolt in the center going up and down there. You tighten it down with that nut, and it spreads the collar out, which latches onto the bearing. Then from there, this slides over top onto the hub. Then there's another large nut, and it basically just, you screw the nut down and it pulls the bearing inside this little hub here. Pretty easy. On the flip side, when you go to install it, this large bolt through the hub, there's a backing plate that keeps it in place. You set the bearing into the hub, and then you pick out your press plate here, which you see it's got a little dimple, whatever you want to call it there. It goes inside the bearing to keep it nice and flat, and run a nut down it, and it uniformly presses it down in there. Got some B-roll of me using this tool. Here, y'all check it out. All right, so that's me using the OMT Bearing Tool. I'll put a link to this tool in the description if you're interested in getting one. Not a bad thing to add to your arsenal. Again, very simple job to do. If you can put, you know, LED lights on your bike, you can do your bearings. Pretty simple. Now, the other thing I wanted to talk about was while I had the wheel off. Now, I don't know if you're like me, but it seems like every time I have a job, I'm like, man, this is an easy job. It's going to take me a couple hours. It ends up taking me the whole day because I find something else. That was the case this weekend. I had the wheel off. When you drop the front wheel on a touring bike, to get the wheel off sometimes, you have to remove one of the calipers, one of the brake calipers, so the tire will clear them. It won't go between them. So I removed the right one, hung it up out of the way, did not disconnect the brake line, pulled the wheel off, did the work, put it back on, and when putting the caliper back over the rotor, it was kind of tight, it was kind of stiff. I went ahead and bolted down, went to spin the wheel, and it would barely spin. Worked the brake lever, and it seemed to get worse. So now I'm thinking, maybe I need to do some brake maintenance. I've rebuilt brake calipers before on an older Harley Davidson. We'll do it, we've got everything broke down, let's do this job right. I get in the truck, proceed over to Harley. On the way there, I'm calling them to confirm they have the rebuild kit, and I got some interesting news. From what I understand, I think he went back to 2014, so 14, 15, 16 at least, maybe even newer on the touring bikes. You cannot rebuild the front calipers. They are made by Brembo for Harley Davidson, and they do not offer a rebuild kit. I checked JP Cycles, there's not a specific kit. You can get some generic seals and some generic pistons if you need, but fitment is not guaranteed. That concerns me. I think it's kind of crappy. So the option was to get new calipers, $245 each, and they've been on back order for some time and currently still are on back order. So if you've got one of these bikes, if you don't already know this, that's something you might want to keep in mind. So what did I do? Well, first of all, I walked myself off the edge. I came back home, took the calipers off, cleaned them thoroughly, and come to find out it wasn't even a stuck piston. One of the brake pads, when removing it, got cocked, and it was just causing it to jam a little bit. So I'm back up and running, but I thought it was good information to share with you guys. So that's it for this week. I hope you guys are having a fantastic week. I hope you have a great upcoming weekend. October is here. Feel free to drink your pumpkin spice, wear your flannel, your freaking Han Solo boots, whatever it is you do. October is here. Enjoy your October. We're going to do some fun stuff this month, I hope. So anyway, until we talk again, you guys be careful. You guys be safe. Always keep your shiny side up, and we'll talk to you later.